I started my professional journey, I think now more than 10 years ago. I started quite late. I first had a background in sports, but then I needed to pivot it to a more career in business. And I think an important decision that I made earlier on in my career was joining a consultancy firm here in Amsterdam, off the record, where I really learned looking into different companies quite a lot and quite quickly. So I was capable of joining, I think, more than 30 different startups and scale-ups. And that really helped me developing a quite broad of skill sets and understanding different types of business models, B2C, B2B, marketplace, etc. I think that time period for me was really, or for every young professional, really help with quickly gaining a lot of different knowledge. And after that I pivoted towards where I'm working now at Polarsteps and applying those learnings into one role and one company. So in your early years, if you're capable of joining a lot of different companies in a consultancy firm or somewhere else, I think that will be really helpful for your journey later on, because you also understand better what type of companies you really like to work for as well. For me, it was mobile app, so therefore I joined Polarsteps later on in my career, and not so on the B2B side, for instance. But this will, of course, differ per person. It's an interesting question in the sense that it depends on how we define those two differences. It's organically happening because you just build a really great product is something that will help with the acceleration overall in your company. So it's not one or the other, it's both, and you should be always working on both of them. Yeah, so for us, we have been experimenting with UGC content a lot on the paid performance side, where it was for us really finding a balance between too much off-brand UGC that was a little bit too much, I would almost say fake, but so we experiment a lot with finding real, in our case, Polarsteps users that are also capable of really making nice UGC content that we can maybe leverage or use for our paid acquisition channels. But there is also a challenge in that. So, for instance, it's easier to work maybe with a UGC agency that just has a lot of actors and create a lot of hundreds of UGC content for you that you can use in your paid acquisition channels. Trying to get UGC content from your own in our case, app users, is a little bit more challenging. It requires more project management as well, and in the end, that helps for us really more making a much more authentic story as well, and more something where we are proud of also to use in our paid acquisition efforts. Yeah, this is something which is continuously a battle between, not a battle, I think a good conversation that I have with our head of product at Polarsteps as well is how much focus indeed in a quarter or in a certain time period do we allocate towards these indeed growth features or growth improvements, experimentation versus building on the core product. And there's no one good answer for that. We have been trying to use prioritization frameworks, but I have to say I've been using prioritization frameworks a lot of times. It's always just showing one side of the story and not encountering all the different aspects that are going on during a company life cycle. So for us, it's also depending on seasonality, where, for instance, if it's a really high season coming up for us where we need to acquire as much use as possible, the season before that we try to optimize already as much as possible to make sure that during the high season we are having a much more optimized funnel, for instance, which could be the growth features. But during off season we maybe emphasize a little bit, allocate more time towards more the core product feature, improving that. But also this really depends on, again, the maturity of certain features or certain product pillars in our case, where we sometimes also in much more early stage products or product pillars at Polarsteps, where we focus way more on building the core feature rather than optimizing the feature or work on growth feature. So There's no one size fits all. There's no prioritization framework that can solve this challenge. It's just a continuous conversation that you should have between somebody from growth, between somebody from product, with the management team, etc. I would say organic content production. So, and another one could be LLM optimization, but I have personally some doubts about that, in the sense that still a lot of question marks, still a lot of unknowns how big it's going to be. But I would say organic content production for your brand and really making engaging, really good quality content is a growth lever that should be way more. As a company, you should invest more money into it, because it is something that has been utilized a lot by influencers and creators, but not so much by brands, because they often want to sell the product too much. But just making really nice and organic and entertainment content is something which is more applicable to the younger audience nowadays, and should be one of the more focused areas for 2026.